Good morning, everyone. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. I greatly appreciate them. This is the daily forecast for all signs. It is a broad spectrum reading, so I do speak in broad terms. You need to figure out if and where it fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. Nothing's broken or wrong. It just might not be your reading. And it's originally created for Tuesday, June 13th, but it's not solely set for that date. If you're seeing it on a different date and it makes sense to your situation or whatever you're dealing with or your life at the time, by all means utilize the reading when it finds you. I do believe readings can be timeless and find us when we need them rather than when they're originally created for. So keep that in mind also. If you hear me referring back to cards that you don't see in the reading, I'm referring back to the Sunday underpinning reading, and that is the reading that I do every Sunday that shows the energy for the week that kind of underpins these cards that we look at daily. You can reference or watch that video at the end of this video in the lower left-hand corner to give you more insight and understanding as to what I'm talking about. For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu under any of my daily videos or the weekly videos. In there is just some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel, what decks I'm using during the reading, how to follow me on social media. I'm not the biggest social media person, but if you wanted to contact me for a private reading, that's how you would go about doing it. You would either message my Instagram page or my Facebook business page. You would have to initiate that conversation, just so you know. I never hit people up to sell them readings, so if anybody ever were to do that, know that that's not me. You would have to reach out to me. Other things in that drop-down menu are easy ways to support the channel. You can do so by hitting that thumbs up button. That greatly helps. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I put up a new video. I do put up daily content. Sharing the video out helps, and leaving me a question or comment if you're new to me, whatever, let me know you're here, say hello. I do read them in the mornings during the premieres and throughout the day, and I really do appreciate them. All right, so let's get into these cards and see what Spirit wants us to know for this day. So our card for the day is the Four of Swords. We've seen him before in this deck. Four of Swords is about, first off, fours are foundational security in my opinion. It's about getting stabilized. Swords is our mental realm, right? Our mind. This guy here, he's depicted as resting, and oftentimes the Four of Swords is depicted as a card of rest or rejuvenation, retraction, pulling back, going inward, meditation. Healing even, healing the mind, our thoughts, what we're communicating. We may not even be communicating much when the Four of Swords is present. Underpinning this is the King of Wands from the Sunday reading going into, because this is Tuesday, we could be feeling some of that Two of Pentacles energy that's in the midweek. And that could be why we're Four of Swordsing. And what I mean by that is we might need to draw within to make a decision, that Two of Pentacles in the midweek, around something that we desire, the King of Wands, right? Some action that we may want to take or we're not sure about taking. Yesterday's card was also the Knight of Pentacles, which is a very slow, steady, reliable energy. I think with this Four of Swords, we have to make sure that we're well taken care of this week as we progress through the week with whatever we're dealing with. This is just a reminder to sort of take that breath, take that step back, reassess, clarify. And I mean more so like not with others, like looking for answers, but clarify within ourselves what is true for us, right? What is our foundational mental truth and how do we communicate that at the very least to ourselves, most importantly actually to ourselves, because this is such a card of introspection to me that it is about how we are thinking within our mind about ourselves, to ourselves, within a situation, and is it healthy? Is it healing us? Is it nurturing us? And if it's not, then this is a time to turn inward and begin to nurture, stimulate health or softer, easier, simpler thoughts around a situation, and rest even if we need to, right? It's okay to rest. That King of Wands that underpins the early part of the week may want to feel like we need to move quickly or jump to it. This is telling me, and the Knight of Pentacles from yesterday, don't let necessarily the impulsivity of the King of Wands push us into situations we don't want to have to find our way out of. Does that make sense? I did happen to notice when I walked in here on the calendar that the moon is in Aries during this reading, so that's also another thing. Our emotions could feel a little bit impulsive or bubbling to the surface a little bit. Moon in Aries is not a bad thing. It's just, I think that it's reminding us, or this Four of Swords is certainly reminding us to take stock first and then maybe voice later, if that makes sense. Let's go to the Modern Nirvana Oracle and see what card it is. We have Synthesis. What I like about this is that this guy is getting into synthesis, even though he's napping or shutting out the outside world. This is about coming into synthesis with our thoughts and how we communicate them. Like I said, mainly to ourselves, or most importantly to ourselves, but even to other parties or within situations. So I think that when I hear the word synthesis, it is about coming into alignment with our own self and getting that foundational grounding in what we're thinking, how we're thinking. Is it serving us? Is it, clear, precise, in alignment with who we are? Is it foundationally strong? And building towards that. Let me read Synthesis to you. Generally with these symbols, there's usually a meditation that goes along with it. So this may be an interesting meditation. I think this is about aligning ourselves for the day, just concentrating on our own well-being and our own alignment. All right, Synthesis. Imagine a multi-dimensional spider's web in the early morning covered with dewdrops, and every dewdrop contains the reflection of all other dewdrops, and so ad infinitum. That is the Buddhist conception of the universe in an image, Alan Watts. The metaphor of Indra's net stems from both Buddhist and Hindu cosmology and relates to the metaphysical concept of non-duality. Indra is a Vedic deity who is believed to be the god of the heavens and the devas, which are gods. His net is infinite in dimension, and within this web is a structure of infinite multifaceted jewels, and within each jewel all other jewels are reflected. Imagine a precious lattice of life where all action is reflected, connected, and interdependent upon the actors. This guy's backstage at a play, guys. The actors. Interesting. A worldwide web multidimensional movement which echoes through infinity. The Hegelian dialect is a philosophical thought exercise where a point, thesis, is met with a counterpoint, antithesis, and inevitably a compromise, synthesis, arrives. As a meditation, let's visualize Indra's net as the connective tissue between action and response. And interesting because the King of Wands would be about taking action, but this response card to me is going inward, right? This Four of Swords is like almost pulling back. Every jewel holds the reactions and reverberations, and the perception of it all is the compromise, because we as perceivers are still limited in our projection as we traverse through the illusory nature of reality. Step 1, close your eyes and visualize a crystal spider, however it may come to your mind's eye. Step 2, once you see the spider, imagine it weaving a web that begins with an action you've recently done and perhaps felt poorly about. As the web starts to form a pattern, contemplate how the response to that pattern resonated in your reality. Step 3, next in your mind's eye, imagine a gentle rain beginning to fall. See drops of water landing on the web. Look at each jewel and see what's inside. Ask it to show you the reverberation and reaction of your actions through the landscape of time. Step 4, contemplate what you see. Step 5, zoom out until you can attain an eagle-eye view of this vision in your mind's eye. Witness the spider, the web, the drops of water within the pattern, and take note of how you feel when you observe this scene. Step 6, open your eyes and record any thoughts or feelings. The mantra for this card is, I strive for perception and acknowledge my part in the greater cosmic connection. I see, but understand there's always more than what meets the eye. Infinity is ever present, even when it may be in disguise. I feel like there's a truth here that we need to see. or communicate within ourselves that we will find within ourselves. That's this Four of Swords. And this truth may help us to make a decision because we have the Two of Pentacles energy coming in the midweek underpinning this. The interesting thing I just noticed too is look at this long road painted on the backdrop. Like he's come a long way. And there's still a ways to go to that little house on the hill way back there. I never noticed that. It's like a castle, actually. It's not even a house, it's a castle. That's just the door. So, in a way, he's almost dreaming the path too, or clearing the way for the path, coming into synthesis with the path, looking at the connectivity of the different pieces of the web and how we get there, and how they interact or interconnect, and understanding that there is a greater interconnection to all of this, even if we're facing things that may seem challenging or out of alignment. We can actually get ourselves into alignment by going inward and clarifying our thoughts and maybe our communications around a certain situation. What we think is most important when I see the Four of Swords, not necessarily what others think. That's always key and important. So let's look at the clarifiers. We have the Nine of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the Five of Wands. So, I feel like this clarity could come around relationships for some of you, just because this is the Six of Cups sits prominently in between all of these wands. Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia and harmony, but it's also a card of like past lives, soulmates, family, those that are dear to us, those that we feel emotionally secure to or fond of. The Five of Wands to me, I mean, excuse my language, but I always call it the whole lot of fuckery card. It can be drama, it can be, arguing, it can be a fight of some sort, or a difference of opinion. I don't necessarily think that we have to get involved with it. When I see not only the Nine of Wands here, but also the Four of Swords, indicates to me maybe we've been to this fight before, or we've had this fight before. It may be with a loved one or with a family member or somebody we care deeply about. I feel like the synthesis in this is maybe staying focused on our own truth. The Nine of Wands would represent about having been to battle, having been in that Five of Wands fight, and look at how many wands we've come out with. Like in the previous fights that may seem similar to the situation we might be in right now, or the conflict that may be going on around us, we've learned we don't necessarily have to get involved. We can take our wands and build a boundary and be at personal completion with however the situation is, or in a personal acceptance of how the situation is, and still continue to love, right? Still be able to hold a special place for that person or the situation, even if it is going a little haywire right now. That to me puts us more into the Four of Swords and the synthesis energy than anything else. We don't have to fix it, we don't have to change it, we don't have to make it a certain way so that it's okay. We just need to be okay with how the situation is, or the relationship is, or the person may be, or whatever they're doing. Kind of letting it go and focusing on the love. Yesterday's grounding stone was the love stone, and so it's interesting to me that this is coming up with this Six of Cups in the middle. It's like loving people or ourselves, our relationships, through harder times by first taking care of ourselves, and finding that alignment allows us to see our way through this in a smarter, not harder kind of way. Let me go to the grounding stone. And this is just like an energy that we should ground in today while we're dealing with all of this. The word is dream. And it's interesting to me because he's napping on the Four of Swords, and he's almost dreaming that path to that castle. Don't what I want to say is, if we're feeling limitations or challenges, or if we're noticing them, don't let them limit us in what we find we are capable of, as far as outcomes, as far as opportunities. Dream to me is about dwelling in possibility, seeing like options rather than endings. This may not be our fight, or this may not be our challenge. It might be for us to just go inward and dream of synthesis or like the situation coming back into alignment somehow outside of our control and outside of our hands. Does that make sense? And so we don't have to control it. We just need to kind of accept it and allow it to be, find even a gratitude or appreciation for it through that Six of Cups. Let those wands flail around. We've been to this rodeo. These aren't even our, what is that phrase? Not my circus, not my monkeys. That's kind of what this feels like, because the Nine of Wands indicates we've done these fights or had these discussions over and over again in the past, and we've learned something from them. We don't have to go to this fight. We don't have to. We can sit back and concentrate on us, our mind, our communications, our thoughts, and have a sense of harmony, independence, even self-sufficiency, and that leads us towards this synthesis. And within that synthesis, or within that alignment, that allows us to dream. And those dreams may lead us places we don't even understand, right? We do have that Two of Pentacles coming up in the midweek, so there could be a 3D choice or decision or shift that's going to take place that may lead us in a direction that we didn't really realize was possible, and we might need to prepare for that possibility through doing this kind of dreaming and this focus on aligning within ourselves first, so that we're ready for the work ahead. The end of the week card is the Eight of Pentacles, which is about putting in that work at the 3D level towards something, like working on a project. So there could be something coming that we don't even see just yet. So continue dreaming while you're in this internal work. That is your reading. I hope it makes sense. You'll have to let me know. Please leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Share the video out. Leave me a question or comment. Follow me on social media. Hit me up for a private reading if you're interested. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow to see how this energy changes. Bye.